What a great night, what a great day for the pro wrestling business. Great to see all of you here. And with that note, somebody it's not great to see. Hey, Don. Thank you.
Good show.
Yeah, thank you. It was very good. Takeshita-san, go home. Go home. Genki desu ka?
元気ですよ。
Good, good. Very good. Good itashimashita. And with that, questions?
Lincoln from Wrestle Talk. Don, you told us on Wrestle Talk a few years ago that you think that Will Ospreay really needs to change up his style. Otherwise, he's not going to wrestle into his 30s. Are you trying to impart that sort of advice as well onto Takeshita, and do you think that Will followed your advice?
I think Will did, and I think I'm not the only one who gave Will that advice. A former friend of mine mentioned just this past week that he had told him that too. I mean, I don't think it's, I may have multiple degrees, but I don't think I need any of them to have told Will that at one point. And what people forget about Takeshita is that Takeshita was an Olympic level decathlete in Japan who chose professional wrestling. Takeshita, I think, is a guy who, I was just talking to Chris Hero in the back, and he said he first met Takeshita at a wrestling show when Takeshita was 10, and he was doing work at one of the wrestling shows in Osaka. So this is a kid who has been in the business, like in some form or fashion, 18 years. So I don't think it's a conversation we need to have. My conversation with Takeshita is more about being more vicious and being more brutal. He is, in my opinion, perhaps the best athlete in all of wrestling, the best pure athlete, 6'3", 240, he's got Lou Thez size, again, Olympic level decathlete. There's not many guys 6'3" and 240 who move like Takeshita. We have that base covered. What we need is more aggression, and I think you've started to see that. And I think what you saw tonight is this is not just the new Kenny Omega, this might be the new god of pro wrestling.
Yeah, Jamal Nyers here for Seconds Out. This is a question directed to all three of you. So the match that makes sense next is Takeshita versus Kenny Omega. Maybe next week. Everyone wants to see that. And then Don and Takeshita, just in terms of that singles match against Omega, how does that one go? How long does that match last?
I think we've been clear. Takeshita has wanted to test himself against his former mentor, Kenny Omega, for years, I think. In my opinion, Kenny has not won a big singles match since he and I had our split. I think he's 0-6. So that continued tonight. Takeshita pinned him. And we're tired of waiting, frankly. We want to test Kenny Omega in a singles match, and I would love it. One of my favorite cities, Chicago, Illinois, if we can book that match, Takeshita and Kenny Omega one-on-one, Mr. Khan, I think that would be a great match, to your point, that people would like to see. We're not satisfied with beating Kenny Omega in a six-man. It was great, but Takeshita wants to prove he can do it in a singles. And I would love to do it at Chicago if Mr. Khan is willing to book that.
Yes, please. Hi, I am willing to book it, and I think it would be a great match. And based on what I saw tonight here, it was a classic match. I thought it was very fitting that the original All In featured the Golden Elite in a great six-man match. Tonight, the Golden Elite were also in a great trios match. The result was different tonight, and Takeshita-san was incredibly impressive. We have AEW All Out coming up 1 week from tonight in Chicago, Illinois, next Sunday. I think that would be a tremendous match. Takeshita versus Omega, one-on-one. You have a deal.
Thank you very much.
I only have one thing to say. I'll show you in Chicago. I'm gonna beat Kenny Omega again.
Here's the thing, and this is the difference. People say, what's the difference now that Kenny Omega is on his own? The reality is that I named Kenny the god of pro wrestling, but the real hand of God in this relationship was not Kenny, it was me. Kenny is an uber-talented, incredible natural athlete. However, in my opinion, he's mentally weak, and I was a crutch for him for a long time. And as soon as we had a couple of disagreements, he fell back on his codependencies, whether it be with the Bucks or with Kota Ibushi or with Hangman Page. You can have great athletes, but when they are mentally weak, they are not successful. And I have no tolerance for weakness, and I have no tolerance for stupidity. And so our goal here is to prove to the world that Kenny Omega is done. Kenny Omega is done. Takeshita is going to be the new ace, if you want to call it that, of All Elite Wrestling. And we are going to prove it in Chicago, and I am very excited about it. And all of you people, all of you Kenny Omega apologists, Alvarez, Meltzer, you're all going to eat it. You're all going to eat it. And I want to hear the diatribes on all your little shows and your little newsletters about Don Callis was right. Figure out how to type those words, because you're going to be typing them after Chicago.
Thank you, Don.
Any other silly questions?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do one.
All right, we'll do one more. Here, we can finish it up.
Hello, Marcus Grumman from Headlock in Germany. We saw Will Ospreay beat Chris Jericho today. What's your future affiliation? Is he part of the family you were talking about building? What about his stablemates in the United Empire? What can you tell us about that?
I'm not building a stable, I'm building a family. Stables fail. Families are when you can choose your family. They say you can't choose your family, but I'm choosing mine. I'm choosing people in my family who aren't mentally weak. Will Ospreay is the most sought after guy, as he has said many times, in pro wrestling. People are very excited about Will, and with great reason. People say, what did you do to get Will Ospreay to be with you? What did you get? What did you give him? You know what I gave him? I didn't give him money. I didn't give him promises. I didn't have to go Don King, Mike Tyson on him. You know what I gave him? I gave him Chris Jericho's head on a platter in front of all of his friends and family in Wembley. And it worked out great, because we got to see, as great as Chris Jericho is, we got to see is exactly what I have always said he is. And I've been his best friend for 34 years until very recently. He is a narcissistic, sociopathic psychopath. It's all about him. And tonight, thank God, it was all about Will Ospreay. And you're going to see more of that. Will Ospreay's talent, my 170 IQ, sky's the limit.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I don't want to be a liar here, so I did point to this gentleman so he could ask one. We made eye contact.
You're a gentleman. Seamus Dunn Voss, I just want to talk about the entrance. It's very unique to Takeshita's entrance, and I know there's art by the amazing wrestling artist Melanie Coleman that's on the screens. I just want you to talk about your thoughts of that being your entrance, and is it a way of intimidating, and having that art of Don and Takeshita is just like inspiration to you as you walk to the ring?
I'm not in the business of entertaining people or popping people. I don't care about any of that. I am in the business of psychologically and mentally dominating people. So what that means is I don't need to have music. I don't want people to be happy because I don't care. The fans are great, but to me they are just things like a bottle cap or an insect. So for me, I don't want music. I don't want you to be happy. And that line wasn't meant to make any of you smile. That's how I really feel. I have the best job in the world because I get to be Don Callis. This is the Don Callis you see back in Winnipeg. This is the Don Callis you see if you run into me in an airport. So I don't need music, don't want music. I want to come out. People can do whatever they want. I hear the boos, and I could care less.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Thank you, Takeshita-san. どうもありがとうございました。